Hey everyone, I'm back with another review for you guys, and it's on the e.l.f. 50 piece makeup artist palette. And if you like to get my take on this palette, please keep on watching. Okay, so the palette is a 50 piece palette. It has eyeshadows, blushes, and you have bronzers. It includes 40 eyeshadow colors and 5 blushes, 5 bronzers. So it comes packaged, it's from the Studio line, so it comes packaged like this, and the actual product comes packaged like this. So if you have the day and night palette, then it's very similar in size, has the same writing. Now that is going to be quite tricky for me because I do have the day and night palette, and I will have to label this because this looks exactly like it. There is a small label here that says assorted, but I can't remember what the day and night palette, but it looks pretty much the same. So I will have to personally label this so that I can know. But on the flip side, because it's similar packaging, that means I can actually move around those shadows to match it up with these. So like if I like the tray of eyeshadow that's in here, I can swap it with another one that's in my day and night, or if I like the blushes here, I can swap it up, so back and forth. I mean, that to me is just amazing. I wish, however, that it can come up with pan forms, maybe like more blushes, highlighters, you know, so that you can actually build your kit per se, and then of course add like maybe lip colors, so that it can be like an all-in-one. So that is it concerning packaging. It's the same thing in terms of getting soil. You can take a wipe, because mine did get a little crazy. You can take a wipe and wipe it, and it becomes clean so that you don't see, you know, like the print marks and all that stuff. So this is packaging wise, and it does come with that ginormous mirror. Alright, so the palette comes with a ginormous mirror here, just like the day and night, like I told you. And the first pan does have shadows, and the shadows are a mixture of matte, satin, shimmers, metallic finishes, and you don't have any reds, oranges, you get blues, greens, plums, browns, quite a lot of neutral. And it's more or less a neutral warm palette, which this is totally up my alley, because you know I don't like alley. And then the next one here would be the blush and bronzer palette. So I am going to swatch all of the blushes and bronzers, and I will try to swatch as many of the eyeshadows so you guys can see my the pigmentation, and then I'll just talk and let you guys know how I feel about this palette. So here we have the eyeshadows, and I'm going to just go through a couple of the ones at in the bottom row and then go up for you guys. So we have like a champagne color here that does have frost, and this one is pretty pigmented. Then we have this other kind of champagne color. There are not a lot of matte color. This is a gorgeous satin color. There are not a lot of matte colors, but some of the brighter colors are matte, and that's like a little gold color there. And I'll just swatch these on my hand. Wow. Natural. So some of the darker browns we have here, that's the color payoff, and I find that the color payoff kind of varies. Like, you do get some of the colors are like more satin or with shimmer, and they don't have, now this is swatched without primer, base, and that kind of jazz, right? When you do add those colors, you do get better pigmentation. So I'm doing the second row, which has like the plummy colors and the purples, and they are pretty pigmented for what they are worth. They're warm undertone. Like this plum color did crumble a little bit, so it has fallouts. This other one that was on my finger, not so pigmented. Then this like radiant orchid color is actually very frosty, and the other one, which is like this one, is kind of matte. So you have your variation there. The shimmery color that I do have on my lid is this one, and I actually like it. But the other ones that are here are kind of like matte with slight shimmer, and I don't like the transfer off that they do give. So that's the color I have on my lid. And let's go with like the blue that's up here. And it's a matte blue. Wow, okay. So it's a matte blue. I do see some fallout. Then we have like a shimmery blue. This kind of aqua color. We have a silver here, but that silver does not look like it's really pigmented. No. So let me see. There is like no transfer. So this is the matte blue that has that kind of green undertone. Then the blue with the shimmer has again like a green undertone. Don't like blues that are like that, quite frankly. And then of course this kind of turquoise color is supposed to have blue undertones. So let's go to like the greens. You know, I love my greens, and interestingly these three greens here are matte, and bam, look how pigmented that is. Like wow, again, that is like super. These are like super pigmented, and greens are my color, so you know I am in love. They do have some fallout, but that's the three greens. Oh my gosh, they're like a forest green and a lime green. Let's swatch them. Okay, that's them swatched. They look very nice. Actually, this one here looks like very similar to one of the colors that I got in my Garden of Eden palette. Then we have another silver up here. This one again does not have really great pigmentation. So this silver here does not have great pigmentation, neither does this one. So if you want silver, no. Then we have a nice gorgeous taupe color. Wow, I like this taupe color. Let's swatch this green. The lime green did not give such a great transfer, which is this one up here. Yeah, it's not such a great transfer. We have the silver, which is not even showing. And then that's the taupe color there. I'm sure you guys are not seeing it because my lighting is a bit horrible. Alright, so we're going to do these darker colors. Now, generally you find that darker colors sometimes could be a hit or miss. This is a gorgeous charcoal color. Then we have a matte brown, which is like, bam, out there in your face. This reminds me of those browns that people look to do their brows. So this will be an awesome, and it is matte also. Then there's this plummy brown chocolate color. Gorgeous. Ooh, the darker colors are super pigmented. Can't tell you that. So we have them here. Yeah. So yeah, the charcoal color seems like if it's not that pigmented, but I do think it does have some build to it. Yeah. But those like browns are like matte or satin feel to them. Then the last three, which would be those three. Wow, these do have pigmentation to them. Yeah, so you see they do have a good payoff. And again, these darker colors are like matte or satin, no shimmer or anything like that. The only color that has some shimmer is this one, but then it doesn't have a color, you know, much color payoff, which is very sad because most shimmer colors do have some level of pigmentation. Now, if I have to rate these eyeshadows, quite frankly, I'm not totally pleased with eyeshadows. I felt that some of the colors they do have a wide range of pigmented colors, and I like the arrangement personally because I'm a warm person and I like a lot of neutral colors, so this does appeal to me. But I have to use a base with these, and I wish they were a little more pigmented, like a wider variety of them were pigmented. But for 40 eyeshadows, I do not think they're 100% fail. I would rate at least this part of the palette maybe 4 out of 5, leaning more to 3.75 than a 4. But you can get an entire look out of this, and I like a palette where I can just use all the colors in the palette to create one look. I hate having sometimes to just be pulling out different palettes, especially when I'm doing like my weekly basket. I can put this palette in and I could use everything in it rather than I have to get, say, transition colors and all of that stuff. I like a palette, I can get one. So you can get looks with this, but the pigmentation is not really out there. The Day and Night palette does have much better pigmentation, and like the geometrics, I find that the quality there is much better than this. So I'm slightly disappointed. That's why I'm leaning towards a 3.75 to a 4 for these eyeshadows. So let's get on to the blushes and the bronzer. Okay, so blushes first, then a bronzer. So this pale color here, I'm not even going to try to say it's a blush. This will never be a blush for me. And it's pretty chalky. So this is more like a pale peach, not peach, pale, yeah, peachy pink kind of color. And this can never work for me. Maybe if I have, like, if I'm using like a blush that is really overpowering and I want to tone it down, then this is one of those colors. I do not think I can use this for highlighting because it's kind of like matte. So that's it there. It's pretty matte, matte satin kind of feel. It's not shimmery or anything like that. I can maybe try. I am thinking though this may be good as for under eyes, like, you know, if you want to set your concealer because it's pinky toned. So that is something that I can look at. There we have this pink color, that's this one here. And oh, this is really nice. It has a warm feel to it. It's pretty pigmented. So that's what it looks like, and it's buildable. I like that. It's very satin to the touch, and I love satin blushes. It's not chalky or anything like that. There we have this bubblegum kind of pink. Sorry if I look like I'm flipping you guys, but this is a bright pink. I am wearing it lightly on my cheeks because I was super afraid that it would be too overpowering. So that's it there. And let's see if we can build it up. I know we can build it up because I did play around with it. Now what's the difference between the two of them? This one is more peach tone and this one is really just more of your blue tone pink, which is absolutely gorgeous. Now these two colors I haven't used. I did try to use these two, so I am not totally sure what. Okay, so this one is more of like a muted rose mauve color. It almost looks like nothing. Let's see. Oh, it looks like nothing, but when you apply it, it's like a dusty rose peach kind of color. That is interesting. I've never seen a blush like this. Wow. And this is not matte, this is satin, but it is super gorgeous. Whoa, I actually really like that. So let's try the orange blush, and that's what it looks like here. It's more like a peachy than an orange blush, by the way. So that's it there. And swatch again, these do not have any glitters or shimmers in it. These are all satin, and that's what it looks like there. Oh wow, super gorgeous. I really like, really like. So the bronzers now, let's go with the first one, which is the lighter one. Okay, this looks very warm. So where are we going to swatch? Alright, so that's it there. It almost looks as if it's, now this can be a highlighter. I can see this being a very natural highlighter. So I'm liking it. This is very satin to the touch. Yep. I don't know if you guys can see, but it has a nice sheen to it. So that's awesome. Then this bronzer here. This is actually quite peachy toned. Yeah, so this can actually even be used as a blush. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's it there. Let's build it. I'm curious. Yes, you can definitely be using this as, for those of you who are like lighter toned, this can be used as a blush, even for like medium to tan. So this is actually like a blush, and that's a highlighter. If you are dark toned, then this may work really well as a highlighter. So there we have the middle color. Let's see how this one goes. This is like a muted kind of mauve color. Okay, again, to me this can be used as a blush, or you can mix it with one of the pinky tone blushes. Can you guys see that? This is interesting. So technically these are not, I cannot use these as bronzers at all for me. I, however, do think that I can use the last two as bronzers. So yeah, this looks like one of the others that I have seen in maybe one of the duo blush and bronzer palettes. So this one I know for sure should be like a bronzer. Yeah, it looks like almost like nothing. That's it here. Let's see if we can build it. But I think this is one of the bronzers that we do get, like maybe in the St. Lucia palette. So that's it there, and that will work pretty okay for me. And then the last one is kind of like a ready tone. This reminds me of Terracotta from, yep, this reminds me of Terracotta blush from La Femme. totally reminds me of terracotta blush. So I don't know if this can be used as a contour for darker tones, but if you're a light tone like me and you want a really nice bronzy goddess blush, then this is your choice. Definitely is your choice. All in all, what do I think of the bronzers? I think that this is a highlight. These two can be used as blushes. This one can be used as a blush, and the only color here that is a bronzer would be this one for me. That's pretty much it. This seems to be like a dupe for terracotta from La Femme, like totally. And so even for darker skin tones, you can use this as a blush. So if you're darker than me, maybe like 2-3 shades darker, then none of these colors here would be bronzers for you. This, you can actually just brush it on your cheeks and get a nice glow. If you don't want to wear blush, if you like wearing a lot of golds and bronze on your eyes, then you can get a really nice bronze goddess look. But the blushes are great. All of these feel very smooth to the touch. This one does have some sort of shimmer to it. That's the only one that I noticed. And no highlights. But this, I would rate at least this pan in itself like a 4.4 to a 4.25, because I do think it's practical and I can get use out of this pan in itself. All in all, I do like the concept of this. I wish maybe it had like lip colors. I do like the glam palettes from the Forever Glam and the Forever Nude from BH Cosmetics, where you get in the eyes, the face, and the lips. I wish like they had like 2 blushes, a highlighter, 2 bronzers or 2 highlighters, and then you get a couple lip colors. That would have been an ideal, and I hope that they can come out with another like concept like that, because I like an all-in-one palette. That's just me personally, something compact that I can just use, you know, or take with me on the go. That's what I always generally look for, something that is comprehensive or at least complete. Now, knowing that bias, I'm not going to use that in rating this, because that was not the idea. It was just meant to have eyeshadows, blushes, and bronzer. Now, with that being said, I don't think that there's enough bronzers in this palette for me or for individuals on a whole. If you are lighter skin, then maybe some of the body class as bronzers would work, but not for medium to tan to olive to dark tone individuals. And I think if you are dark tone, the blushes are going to work well. Some of what is classed as a bronzer can work as highlighters and all of that, but I don't somehow like this palette in total. I don't want to be biased. There is some sort of pigmentation errors with the eyeshadows, and I do have a favorable feel to the bronzers and the blushes, but I would not rate this anything more than a 4 out of 5. I really wish that there was more pigmentation in the shadows and there was a little more variety in terms of the bronzers, just so that they can actually really work as bronzers. Just one here could work as a bronzer for me, and that in itself is a little touchy. And it, you know, so that's my overall take in this. I hope it was helpful. I do love the Day and Night palette, and I definitely recommend. Would I recommend you to get this? No. I do think that if you do have the Day and Night palette, that's the 80 pan, that you may want to go for the quads, the blush quads that I do have out now. I think that will definitely be a better buy than this product. So this, I hope this review was helpful. I hope that this review was helpful, and you can see the swatches and all of that jazz. And I want, if you don't have the Day and Night and you can't get it and you want something like this, then I would tell you go for it. Just use a primer and definitely use a base when applying the shadows. And I think the blushes are pretty decent, but if you need it for like a long day, then definitely use a cream blush or a mousse blush as a base, and then apply these powdered blushes. But all in all, it's not a bad palette, but it's, to me, it's not altogether great. I really raved about my Day and Night palette. I love it. This is not such a big hit as that, but if you don't have that palette, then this is definitely, you know, an option for you. So I hope this review was helpful. Until my next review, thanks for watching. Bye.